Hi, today we're going to talk about website speed and how to improve it dramatically using a plugin called WordPress Rocket. I've used this plugin for the last, I want to say, almost 10 years, and it's never let me down. It's a paid plugin, but the performance is amazing. The amount of website speed that you can increase by just using the plugin alone, it's amazing. And if you're on a WordPress managed hosting platform, and you add the plugin, then you're going to be way ahead of the competition. As you already know, Core Web Vitals, which includes performance, is one of the main factors that Google uses to rank your website. So the faster your website is, the better it's going to rank. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's make this as quick as possible so you can implement these changes right away. We're at the dashboard in the back end of my WordPress website. If we go to settings, and from settings we select WordPress Rocket, it's going to take us to the dashboard automatically. If you haven't installed the plugin, when you first install it, it's going to ask you to run a wizard, which is going to tweak a few things on your website, but they're not going to alter the theme or mess with the layout at all. There are just basic tweaks that are going to get you on your way to having a faster website. So let's move through the rest of the sidebar here. Cache automatically selected, enable caching for mobile devices. Perfect. You do need that. Then move to file optimization. And in this particular case, I strongly recommend you test the settings first on a staging website. And if you don't have a staging website, at the very least, you need to have a full backup of your website so that you can restore it in case any of these settings break your theme. I've never had it happen before. The only instance when that actually happened was when I clicked minify CSS files. In some instances it works, in others it doesn't. It just breaks the theme. So this is the safe bet. And even this one, when you click on it, it prompts you to press another button where it says, are you sure you want to do this? Because again, it might cause the same issue, but it might not be as severe. So again, these two settings are very important, but I, again, strongly recommend that you test this on a staging site or have a backup in store just so you can restore this as quickly as possible. The other setting in the section or settings are the load JavaScript deferred and delay JavaScript execution. And this is essentially to block tracking scripts and any other scripts that might load up on page load. The reason for that is that any single script that loads up is going to have a penalty on your performance. And it's going to make your page load up just a little slower. However, while you might not notice it, Google does. And there's a penalty associated for all those tracking scripts that you have. And you might have them for your Facebook pixel if you have an e-commerce store. You might have it for Google Tag Manager if that's what you're using to track your analytics, your visitors on your website, and any other marketing automation platform that uses pixels on your website to collect visitors' behavior. So all those, when they load up, they have a penalty. So make sure you have these selected. And then the next one, this is not really necessary. You might want to use this one, enable for iframes and videos, in case your theme doesn't have that setting already. In my case, I do have it enabled for the theme that I'm using, which is the Aveda theme. And for images, it depends. If you have sliders that are loading up above the fold, I don't recommend using this because it's just going to delay the loading of the image for the sliders, and it's just going to look weird to your first-time visitors. Next, we have preload. This one a crapshoot really, because I don't have a better word for it. Depending on the plugins that you have installed, this might cause issues, so I just don't use it anymore. For advanced rules, again, this is if you want to create specific rules for not using the WordPress Rocket on those pages. And automatically, if you have an e-commerce store, these pages are going to be added automatically. For database, make sure you do cleanup. This is a function that comes as a separate plugin in some instances, but WordPress Rocket has it as one of the features. So make sure you check this from time to time to make sure that you don't have a ton of revisions here and drafts that add up to the database. And lastly, CDN. CDN, it's essentially a content delivery network that allows your images and other files to be served in, let's say, servers that are closer to your users. For example, if you have someone visiting your website from Europe, the CDN pulls the images from a server in Europe as opposed to locally here in North America, making the whole experience of navigating your website better and faster. And that's it. If you want to play with other settings here, again, I recommend that you do it on a testing website and not a live one. And if you don't have a testing website, make sure you have a backup so you can restore in case your theme gets broken. Next, we're gonna take a look at the performance measured by Google Page Speed Insights, which in the Chrome browser is labeled as light speed or something along those lines. But that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna go to Chrome and evaluate the page load speed based on the settings from WordPress Rocket and without them. Okay, this is the last part on the tutorial, and it's essentially to show you how to measure speed or performance on your web page. It doesn't matter which page, but what we're going to do is essentially use an incognito window, which you can open in Google Chrome by going to these three dots here, and you can open a new incognito window, and it's going to look something like this, dark. Now, what we want to do is click anywhere on the website, or right click rather, and go to inspect from this drop down menu that pops up. And here on performance insights, we're going to look for Lighthouse. And Lighthouse, what it does is simulates Google Page Speed Insights. And it uses a rather slow mobile device, which is widely used throughout the world, not just in North America. So you don't get LTE or 5G speeds. You're actually getting a simulation on a 4G or even 3G sometimes device. So that's let's keep that in mind as we do this. So we click on Lighthouse, and it's pointless to get a score for desktop because Google actually puts more emphasis on mobile browsing. So you want to just check this one, because on desktop it's very easy to achieve close to 90-100% Core Web Vitals. But then again, the emphasis, like I said, is placed on mobile. And we're going to take a look at performance. We're not going to cover this here, SEO. That's for a different tutorial. So we're going to look exclusively at Core Web Vitals. So click on Analyze Page Load. And it's going to load up the page. It's going to run through it again. And this is essentially how Google is going to see the page. And right now we have a performance on mobile of 60, which is not bad, but if we use a caching plugin, we could definitely increase that. And I selected this website. This is a client website where WordPress Rocket had not been activated yet. So we're going to activate the settings that I described previously on the tutorial and hope that they don't break the website at all. Luckily, I have a backup of the website, full backup in case things go wrong. So let's tweak those settings and we'll come back to this again. Okay, we're back and we've made the changes in WordPress Rocket, which include the optimizing CSS delivery, load JavaScript deferred, and delay JavaScript execution, which is under the file optimization tab. So let's see the results. Let's right click anywhere here on the home page, select inspect. Let's go back to performance insights, click on the double arrow, select Lighthouse, and we're gonna run a page load. Click here. Now, one issue here is that the slider is only loading when the person starts scrolling the page, which might be an issue for some people. So it's up to you how far you want to go with the optimization. And it's because it's a slider, essentially. If it was a static image, we wouldn't have this issue. And I prefer for most websites not to use a slider on the home page because it's a penalty on speed as well. But as you can see, we've made quite an improvement here, 86%. We're almost at the top tier of this mid-range of performance, very close to green. I mean, if you make it to this score, you are doing pretty good. And few ways to work on this. The first contentful paint and largest contentful paint might be to get rid of the slider. That would be one instance. And if you have a static image, as they say here, use next generation formats such as WebP or SVG for icons. This website, I've had them as clients for a little while now, so we need to do some updates in terms of images being used. But that would be one way to reduce the speed on page load, work on the header as well. So based on these clues here, you can decide how to change the structure a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, the improvement in performance is quite radical. Granted, this website is hosted on a managed WordPress website hosting platform. You might not get as good of a performance boost on a shared hosting such as, well, you know, the usual suspects. I'm not going to name names. You all know who they are. When you pay like $5 a month in hosting, you can expect that level of service too. All right, that's it for this tutorial, and I hope you find it useful. Thank you for watching.